Okay, so here we go. This is the last segment for this particular stream of information. We have used Bunkai Strategies newsletter in the past to illustrate one application for one move from one kata. We've tried to this year illustrate principles that can then be applied across as many kata as you know. And we can't do that completely in these clips with the length that they are, and you know the nature of them being a kind of div in, div out thing that people pick up on the web. I prefer much more to do it over a course where people can ask questions, see us in person, where we can illustrate and let people feel what we're talking about, so you can judge for yourself whether it's effective. But at the same time, we've got a fair old list of principles there that can easily be used as a checklist if you were struggling with a move from your kata and you're thinking, does this work? Then this list so far is a fair basis to start from, where you can go, okay, does it fill that box? Does it tick that box? Does it agree with this principle? And on occasion you might say, no, it doesn't. And you might still stand by, yes, this is a good application precisely because it doesn't fit any particular principle on the list that we covered this year. So where we go now is into the next project, the next stream, if you like, of information. For this one, we'd just like to wrap up with a couple of ideas for you. The first would be what some people refer to as fa-jing, the idea that there's a shock in the movement. We've kind of covered it before, but I don't think we've clearly labelled it in that way. And the idea is that we're in here, or whatever's happening, when I want to deliver a shot, I haven't got the room to start from over here and drive it in like that. Now we've already said that. So we're going to put it at a close range, we're going to put it in a close context, we're going to give it a realistic kind of application or a realistic kind of attack for us to feed the application into. But then whatever I do needs to be a shock, it needs to be a bump. Right? So whatever I was doing, it needs to generate from me into him. The attack, my response, needs to be driven. It can't just be... And the trouble with this is that you inevitably end up, you know, hurting your training partner, so we have to be very careful with it. But we can place things. So if I take a hand and ram it, then I know there's going to be an effect anyway. But if I put it already on, then I need to pass the shock from me over, and we do it by generating it from the hip or from the floor and up through the hip. Well, essentially it's a kinetic chain like we've already dealt with here. So we pass this into him and we unite it with the breathing. So we breathe in and out, and as we breathe out and you send it through. Now, the trouble with this is it gets taken out of context. People see that and they go, well, you haven't got time to do that. And I know that. We're going to be moving about, something's going to be going on, and just during it, we're going to land something in that manner. So you never seen a slow sneeze. That's got other names for it, right? But all our techniques want to go out as a sneezing motion. If you've got a firework doesn't go off slowly. You know, 1 minute it's not there, the next minute it's there. And we need to feel that happen with our applications. So, you know, big hook comes in and we're there. Now I've got to stop this on contact. So I've got to find other ways of practicing, because shocking someone in the neck is going to be a bad news thing. And it's really not worth the experience of knocking someone out for the sake of your entertainment. So we'll use a pad, we'll hit the pad with that kind of attitude to the technique. But if just for the sake of this today, if we haven't got a pad to hand, what we do is we'll come up on the shoulder, because there's a lot of meat there, and if we're hitting it in this way, we're actually working into the structure, so it's quite well supported. If I attack the shoulder this way, I'm taking it off, and it's not well supported. So to hit this way, I'm not actually looking to do much damage. We might get a bruise, but it's unlikely, because this is a solid area to be using. So if we put that on there, and then you just send it through, then you begin to see how we will pass that on. And it wouldn't be to here, it would be to here, you know, this way, this way. All the tools that you've got at your disposal, but we need to test, can we shock it? Can we put it in that fashion? So these kind of training drills, we do it on the pads. And that's kind of like the wrap up, the thing. Whatever I'm doing, whether it be a hand technique or a foot technique, if you're seeing someone who's doing their kata and they're bringing their foot up like that, then you know that there's no energy in that shot. There's no impact as it's being delivered. And a lot of the time, as we're showing these, we're showing them really slowly so that people can see what's going on. So we go, okay, so you take your foot, you put your foot in there. That's nice. We've left out the ferocious bit because when you put it in, we get trouble. It's not a nice thing to be doing all the time. It's just one, just to show you, and then that's enough. All right? So you understand that when you go back and review all the things we've done, we've shown it in a slow, nice way. Because when we do it barbarically, we end up broken and hurt and not able to continue. So that's kind of the tip, is to say that really the technique should have this barbaric burst. And for most of what we've done this year on this course, we've left that out because we had to. But you shouldn't, either on the pads or in your performance of kata. At the very least, it's got to be that little bit of knowledge that if you're working with a partner, you go and grab my wrist and I turn that over and come into here. You've got to know that even if you've managed it, what we've left out is the burst that causes the damage. If you know that you've done that, fair enough. If you don't know that you've done that and you think it's effective without that snap to the body, then maybe that's where some of karate gets its bad name from. I hope that in some ways what we do with all the practical-minded karateka is to try and redress that somewhat. So I thought I'd check with you, because you've been quiet all this year. And we'll find out what would you add, what would you tell the people who watch this as to say your favourite kind of input into Bunkai or application or karate in general?
I think following on from what you were just saying about the idea of putting that burst in and deliberately giving it out, I think one of the aspects of Bunkai that we should now have the idea of is actually, if you choose the right weapon for the right target, that it actually takes very little to have an effect on the human body. And having that control is something that we should take responsibility for as karateka, but also understanding that when we train something, when we train the way you're just describing, lightly onto our partner and have quite an effect, that actually can deliver that with some impact and force. The effect will be multiplied.
Yeah. Do you need to show that?
What do you want? Well, if we just take something that we've looked at before, this idea of right weapon for the right target, we just take a point along the jaw here.
Right.
So this point along the jaw here, about halfway along, for those of you into traditional Chinese medicine, that's the point known as stone 5. And you've seen this used many, many times before, this idea of the number system. So starting with 0 as being no impact at all, 10 being I really don't want you to do that again because I'm going to be asleep. Just going to take edge of a hand here and just drop it onto the side of the jaw.
So we'll come back with 0.
So going a little bit harder.
2.
2, a little bit more,
4.
4, with a pause there. So that's as much as we need to go, and understanding that literally all I'm doing is this on the side of the jaw, and I'm getting a response that's saying 4, which is about almost halfway to I really, really, really don't want you to do that again. And this is something that you can feel for yourself. If you just take this point on the jaw here, find this point about halfway along, just give yourself a little knock downwards, and you'll feel it reverberate through your jaw. This way, not so much, but this way, down with just a little tap, and you get quite an effect. So, just excuse me stepping off camera for just 1 second.
There's no telling where he's gone.
Just to retain a pad. So if we take that idea and deliver it this way, it doesn't take much to extrapolate what this to here, which causes quite an effect, does if we deliver this way. So we just use a pad. So if we're in that situation where that big hook comes in, and I just drop this into here or drop this into here, that really should be all I need. The trick is, can I get there and can I move on if that doesn't quite come off? Can I avoid whatever it is that's coming in? Use whatever principles I need to do to take this balance and then drop this in to be a finisher.
Okay, so thank you. It's been a great pleasure this past term, if you like, dragging all this out here. And thank you for the kind words and the support that we've had over the past year as these have hit the web. And you know, basically all the comments and the support we get, greatly appreciated. We hope to keep delivering more information along the same lines, but if you've got specific questions that you want us to tackle, drop it in. Not stick it in, I'll stick it in. Drop it in. So for now, signing off, take care, train hard, train smart, see you in the dojo.